Gary Johnson has appeared on this program before, back when he was running for the Republican nomination for the presidency, and then after that, after he had dropped out of the race and came out for marriage equality, actually had come out when he was in the Republican primary race. He has now won the Libertarian Party candidacy. That has actually been for a while, and he is running for president as the Libertarian Party candidate, which means that if he does get in the national polling more than, I believe it's 5%, but he'll tell me, he will be in the debates with President Obama and Mitt Romney. And in some states already, he is polling high enough to really affect the outcome in those states, certainly for Mitt Romney or President Obama. Gary Johnson, former New Mexico governor, and somebody who I always enjoy talking to, and welcome back to the show. Thanks again for coming on the show.
It's terrific to be here, and I am in New York for a couple of days, so really enjoy this as a juxtaposition from Taos and New Mexico.
Tell us a bit about how your candidacy has been going since you solidified. You won the Libertarian Party candidacy. Obviously, all eyes were focused on the Republican convention, the Democratic convention. What are you doing? What have you been doing with your campaign?
Well, just that a lot more attention has come to it. The notion that I'm more liberal than Obama, the notion that I'm more conservative than Romney, that I really don't want to bomb Iran. I want to get out of Afghanistan. I do believe that marriage equality is a constitutionally guaranteed right. Want to end the drug war, like to repeal the Patriot Act, would have never signed the National Defense Authorization Act. Espousing a balanced budget. I would like to abolish the IRS. I'd like to eliminate income tax and corporate tax and replace all that with one federal consumption tax. So, Michelangelo, big differences between myself and the other two candidates. And I am saying that two other candidates because it looks like we are going to be on the ballot in all 50 states, something that no other third party is going to come close to. And I want to point out that we are involved in litigation in 3 states where we still have an issue, but we're thinking that we have a good case. And it's just based on being screwed, I guess, by the Republican Party trying to thwart us at every turn.
Yeah, it is the Republican Party that is trying to keep you off the ballot in a couple of states, Pennsylvania and Michigan, 2 of them. They are looking at you as a spoiler. You didn't win the Republican nomination, so they're seeing you as somebody who is then trying to siphon off Republican votes. How do you respond to that?
Well, I get the comment all the time that, hey, I don't want to waste my vote. Well, I think a wasted vote is voting for somebody that you don't believe in. That's a wasted vote. And the way you change things in this country is to vote for somebody that you actually believe in. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think there was the opportunity to win. But the only chance that I have of winning is to be on the national debate stage against Obama and Romney. And right now, what's heartening is that my name is appearing in national polls where I'm more than just a statistical error. There is a following, and when people see that, they're actually getting on the website, they're checking out who I am. And right now, I need that more than anything. I am going to make the case that I actually have a resume to back up all these things that I'm talking about, that I'm going to doggedly pursue the agenda that I have laid out.
Yeah, the latest CNN poll says that you are getting enough in this election to tip the balance, particularly in some very critical states. 3% of likely voters saying they would vote for you in this national poll. That's slightly higher among registered voters, 4% identifying with you as well. But I'm sure you know that in some states it's higher than that, right? It's in some states you really are polling at an even higher number than that and could tip the balance, correct?
Well, correct, and actually where it has been put to the test, in some states I take more votes away from Obama. In some states I take more votes away from Romney. I think Democrats really care about civil liberties and a balanced checkbook. I think Republicans really care about civil liberties and really care about a balanced checkbook, and I don't think either party does too well in the areas they're supposed to be good at. Democrats supposing to be good at civil liberties, Republicans supposed to be good at a balanced checkbook, but you know what? Neither one of them are good at either, and I'm going to suggest that I'm strong on both, and that as Americans, we really do care about both of those categories.
Now, late last month, you'd written an open letter to the Commission on Presidential Debates saying the American people deserve to see what a third-party candidate has to say. Quickly, for those who don't know, explain how the debates are decided and why the Commission only has ever had the Democrats and the Republicans.
Well, so the Commission is made up of Democrats and Republicans. And the committee was really made up to make sure that there would never be another third-party candidate on stage as Ross Perot. So they've set some criteria for the debates. One is 15% in the national polls. Well, which national polls are you going to count? And don't I have to be in the national polls to be able to qualify? And the other is to be registered for President of the United States. So I just want to say that at every turn, we are being thwarted with regard to getting on the ballot in all 50 states. And so far, we've been completely successful. And I do want to point out, we do have issues in 3 states, Oklahoma, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, but we are involved in lawsuits in those states. And I think they border on the ridiculous. The fact that we needed 20,000 signatures in Pennsylvania, we submitted 49,000 signatures. And I believe the judge himself during the preliminary hearing said, oh, so I wouldn't qualify as a petition signer because I've changed my address since I originally registered. I just found that to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was wrong when I said 5% then. You have to be polling, according to them, at 15% in order to be in those debates. You've written them and pointed out why that's unfair and wrong. When do you expect to hear a final answer from them?
I expect it'll be at the absolute last minute because doing anything ahead of time would be playing the cards that I think are going to be inevitable. And by doing that, that would give us more time to come up with a response. Well, we have our responses in the can and we're ready to go. And just at a bottom line here, I think Americans deserve a choice. And I'm going to say that regardless of whether Romney or Obama gets elected, I'm going to suggest that we will still be in a state of perpetual war. I'm going to suggest that our police state in this country is going to continue to grow. And I'm going to suggest that we will still have insurmountable, unsustainable debt in this country.
Now, we were at the Democratic Convention and the Republican Convention. I know you were campaigning near both of them. At the Republican Convention, a lot of unrest among a lot of the delegates there, particularly those who were supporting Ron Paul, and many of them saying that they're going to throw their support behind you. And I guess Ron Paul himself has not officially endorsed Mitt Romney. Are you expecting a lot of support from Republicans who were Ron Paul supporters in the primaries?
Well, given the fact that I'm saying the same things as Ron Paul, given my own prognosis back in December that Ron Paul was not going to be the nominee, and given that fact, who is going to be the spokesperson for the liberty and freedom movement in this country, which I think is the fastest growing segment of American politics today, well, I thought that spokesperson would defer to the Libertarian nominee for president and decided that maybe I could be the Libertarian nominee for president. I got that nomination, and right now, when it comes to Ron Paul supporters, are they going to vote for Mitt Romney? Are they going to vote for Barack Obama? If I'm an option, I don't think so, because everything I'm saying is the same as that of Ron Paul. We do have differences when it comes to how we communicate, but you know what? I also have a resume to suggest that I'm going to doggedly pursue all these things I'm talking about.
And yet, you know that a lot of people, even if they like a person or like a candidate, they vote pragmatically, and they believe that a vote for you, as you alluded to earlier, is not necessarily wise because they're throwing their vote away. The group Go Proud, gay Republican group, Chris Barron, one of the leaders, has publicly supported you. He says you're somebody he thinks is the perfect candidate. You're conservative for him on many issues, but you also support marriage equality. And yet the group Go Proud has endorsed Mitt Romney. How do you respond to that?
Well, it goes on and on and on. The notion that if you don't vote for one of the two, the lesser of two evils, that you're going to waste your vote. Look, I just think a wasted vote, I think a wasted endorsement is an endorsement of an individual who really doesn't match up with your views. In this case, Go Proud. Does Mitt Romney really match up with Go Proud?
No, not at all.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So it goes on and on and on.
Do you feel you're going to get a lot of support from gay conservatives who really certainly wanted a Republican candidate who was pro-gay, and you were a Republican candidate who was pro-gay?
Yes. Well, I hope that's the case, and I hope it isn't just gay Republicans. I hope it's everybody in this country that really comes under the broad brushstroke of being socially accepting and fiscally responsible. That's the broad brushstroke. I don't think either Obama or Romney represent that broad brushstroke.
So right now you're in New York. Are you campaigning around the country? What's your schedule like?
Well, campaigning around the country and trying to take advantage of media opportunities. So was on CNN yesterday afternoon with Aaron Burnett, and this evening I'm going to be on the John Stossel show live. So these are opportunities where arguably I can reach millions of people as opposed to hundreds if I'm out on the road.
One last question. We're already seeing conservative pundits like Rush Limbaugh and Laura Ingraham as well saying that if Obama wins, it's the end of the Republican Party. They're really angry at Mitt Romney. They feel that he has not gone conservative enough, and that's why he is now slipping a little bit in the polls. Obama got a bump in the polls. I'm curious about your take on what they're saying, that he's not conservative enough, he's not enough to the far right, and is the Republican Party over if he loses?
Well, I think that Mitt Romney, when it comes to civil liberties, is a zero. I think Mitt Romney, when it comes to dollars and cents, he says he's going to balance the federal budget, but that he's going to increase spending for the military, and he's going to hold Medicare intact. You know what? That doesn't add up at all. He adds Paul Ryan to his ticket. They're espousing a balanced budget in 28 years, and they're including growth in that formula. Effectively, that's saying we're not going to do anything about this situation. And I really feel passionately that we need to balance the budget now, or we're going to find ourselves without a country, and that civil liberties are really, really important. We all care about this growing police state. I think we all really care about the state of continuous war that we place ourselves in, with the unintended consequence of having hundreds of millions of enemies against this country that, but for our military intervention, arguably would not exist.
Well, Gary Johnson, always great having you on the program, and want to tell people that they can go to GaryJohnson2012.com to check out everything they want about you, support you if they like as well. And we'd certainly like to have you back on the show, certainly throughout this election season.
Well, Michelangelo, I will hold you to that. It's always a pleasure to be on. Thank you so much for allowing me.
Thank you. Former governor of New Mexico, Gary Johnson, running as the Libertarian Party candidate. GaryJohnson2012.com is his website.